round begins in 3, 2, 1. Fight.
And interesting. Okay, so Knight, yeah, he gets that heavy spawn. Doesn't fall for the trap of going straight in for rockets, and tries to get the rail off Dan. Though flying a bit too fast for him, not quite ready for it. And you're gonna see Dan already pushing in aggressive here in the rockets. Knight trying to just get his weapons now. Once this LG and Dan will opt to take the low ground, get rail, and very quickly both players have got their full utility up here. And we're gonna see an engagement right on the top here. Flame strike out rails as well. He comes out and big damage from both players. The flame strike doesn't proc on Knight, and he manages just to slide away just in time. And he's still not healthy, but Dan still not in a good situation. Rocket doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, I did saw some versatility on the quickness of this crouch sliding try. And like his recovery was great.
Yeah, like Dan got both the major items in that after that engagement, and the stack was pretty much the same because Dan went straight for the megas while Knight was stacking up all the lights, and Knight managed to win that fight actually after Dan pushes him. Maybe Dan didn't expect him to have stacked up quite so quick, but mind you though, we're in that same situation where Knight is not healthy, but with the speed. Look at this, he's able to get straight over this mega, steal mega away. And look at this, he's got a really competitive stack now.
Yeah.
Great catch with the LG as well. Peeker out again, good use of this ability. The rail, the flame strike comes out to try and push off this fight. He should get this kill, but no! The cross between the flame strike and the rocket was enough for Dan to take that fight. And oh, great rocket there as Knight tries to push in, get a bit of damage off.
Yeah, he did a lot before dying, and look at this, and that is...
Nice. That was enough to... Yeah, that tri-bolt, absolutely fantastic. One tri-bolt was enough to get that kill, and gonna try and catch him here, and Dan with rail out, hits the shot, and he's just gonna come straight back through. LG out. The damage is good. Knight trying to hide around this pillar, getting a lot of shots off here, and Dan just pushes up and misses the rope at the suicide. Knight brings us back to 1-1.
A little bit too tense for him. But
Knight's actually in a pretty good spot here still, right? Like he's got this high ground position. Dan's just away. He's not connecting with much LG. That'll force him off, and Dan's probably going to be able to... Oh, he almost kills himself with the peeker, and actually Dan just pushes through, and one rail was enough to get that kill. Knight 2-1 up right now. I know a lot of times, especially, you know, you see Dan in games and you think, oh yeah, Dan's probably going to take this, but like, you know, players like Knight, he can really take it to Dan.
yeah, like his defensive plays are so great because dandaking is just crazy aggressive. Like he does this, he wants to invest his stack in taking over the rotation, but if that doesn't happen, it can pivot the other way.
Oh, and unfortunate for Knight, drops down on Dan, leaving him on 17 HP, while Mega's there as well. And yeah, Knight is a very good defensive player. Tri-bolt defensive again, beautiful damage. And Dan is in such a strict position. Oh, the cheeky tri-bolt from beneath, but the rocket jump up avoids most of the damage. And Dan now in a really good position in this high ground. Rail's not quite connecting Knight. So low here, he's got to get out. Dan, I think, suspects where he might be. And did he catch the edge of him? He will herd the tri-bolt now, though.
Yeah, and as soon as he gets control, he switches to a more positional play style. So it will be much more difficult for Knight to get into a fight without taking damage first.
Yeah, and especially now that Dan's just gone through and denied those two armors, and he's now just camping at this last armor. He knows how low Knight is, and like this armor here is almost suicide to take. Knight's pretty much out of this now for the next like 30 seconds, right? Assuming he doesn't get found and take damage. He needs to now basically full, and yeah, Dan knows where he's going to be, jumps straight down on him, one flame strike and a rocket later, and that's the end of Knight. Knight will actually be able to steal this Mega Ray, which is really good for him. It's giving him a great entry back into this great rail too. As he drives by. This speed of the stroke is working out really well for him actually. He's getting a lot of these angles which he might not have caught down on, because Dan's movement is so good. He can get around the map so quick, and oh, almost catches him out a bit there. The rocket was good. Peeker coming out. Rail though. Prevents any more damage. Only one bullet hits. And here, Railable was still trying to take this fight. Question is Knight quick enough to punish on this heavy? No, he's not. So he opts to drop down to the lower path. And
5-minute warning.
Dan, just playing this really quiet now. Just wants to hear out where Knight is. Does not want to fall into trap. He's got his flame strike back as well now. Oh, he almost gets the angle off. I think he suspected that the whole time. I think he knew Knight was somewhere in that area. There's not really enough time here for Knight to get back to this item, and if they just keep cycling items like this, it's going to be really hard for Knight to get back into this game. Knight needs to make a play. He needs to make something happen.
Yeah, but look at it, like dandaking is just creating a choke point that he needs to go through, or his opponent needs to go through.
And that's the thing, Dan's so good at doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting damage off in those chokes, right? Like, look, that was a direct rocket. Nice rail there from Knight. Those Dan tries to push through. This might be Knight's chance.
True. The control can be shifted around, but dandaking still gets the heavy. And the Mega Alpha still...
They both rocket jump up the direct from Dan. Both players hitting a lot of damage in that fight, and now both trying to stack back up. Knight dodging the rockets as he jumps into the room. And Pika comes out, trying to chase Dan backwards over the jump. And oh, Knight, what a play. He actually takes the peek into the TP exit, Dan. I think he was ready for it. Never seen that before. That was really smart from Knight.
Nice.
And oh, nice tri-bolt as well.
Stopwatch.
Knight still on stack. Oh, and that rocket jump from Dan just sneaking in past Knight. I don't know if he was expecting for it. And the LG is good. No more rockets, and doesn't need it. Oh, Dan's caught him up again here. This is starting to get really scary for Knight. He needs to make something happen. Dan's still not stacked, and there's not going to be a few items for a little while.
Yeah,
it's something to go now.
It is one of the more difficult maps to play out of control. Like, because it has so much verticality. You really have to conquer every level.
And then when you get players like hitting damage like that, like how do you fight back? Sometimes it feels just impossible. And like a rocket like that's immediately off spawn. There goes oh beautiful rail from Knight though, drive-by rail.
Yeah, and the rail can open things up, but you really have to peek in a way that you don't get a rocket in your face.
Exactly, because a lot of these rooms that you have to try and push in, they're all just like really tight corners and that, and just the defensive rockets have just been so good. And this is what we need though. Like, look at this now, Knight. Look at that stack. It's huge.
Yeah, let's switch to him. Let's see if he can get some free damage, because that is what he needs. Especially now the flame strike is back.
There we go. He's got the intel now. He knows where Dan is. Oh, the missed rail. That was crucial for him. And yeah, he's got to start pushing here. Still a little bit of time before this mega. Tri-bolt coming out. Great tri-bolt damage. Dan trying to contest this and does a huge amount of damage in that spot actually. And another rail as well. And look, this is what I was talking about. Dan just does so much damage in all these situations. And Knight, who was so stacked before, no longer looks at. And Dan's just going to charge down at him. The beautiful rockets from Knight, but not enough. Dan took mega. And what looked like such a great situation for Knight just went downhill so quickly. And again, Dan critically low, but the LG not quite enough. And at this point, yeah, Knight sort of just throwing himself at him, hoping that he can get something going on. But barring a miracle, Rob, I think this is it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, right? Like in the beginning, it really looked like it was going equal.
Oh, so this scoreline, yeah, does not really represent this game, I don't think, very well. Like, it looks very one-sided, you know, especially now after that. Suicide there from like 0-8, right? It looks so one-sided, but yeah, as you say, especially at the start there, Knight was putting up a really good fight. Nice rail. Can he get back on the scoreboard? Oh, the rocket launches him and no 3 HP. Dan survives. Look at that. He's still trying to go for the spawn now. Spawn damage there.
Airborne.
Hey, there we go. A gauntlet killed. There you go. That's Look, who's really won? Let's be honest. You know.
Yeah. Now, dandaking is so tilted, he throws...
Yeah, exactly. Just stop. Just quit. Yeah. The comeback's happening, Rob. It's not over yet. Oh, well, look, that's look, as I say, the score line looks pretty bad for that, but that was a lot closer than what it was, and I hope that hasn't, you know, like hit Knight's mental game. You know, I think he should be happy with that performance in that map, and let's hope he can keep it going on into Blood Run here. That was Knight's pick. But hey, that's only one map in a best of 5.
Yeah, so first player who gets 3 maps wins this series. So, and okay, we see dandaking on
dandaking on Anarchy here. Yeah. What do you think of that? That's again not a conventional pick, I wouldn't say. Especially this is only map 2, remember, right? Like even BJ is not like.
But he does have the champion to run away, and that is easily to do on Blood Run.
That is very true. That's very true. But like you had something, you know, you could have picked something like, you know, like a Doomslayer could have worked really well here as well. Because this is map 2, right? We haven't lost any of the. It's not like we're, you know, scraping the barrel right here for picks.
Yeah, and BJ Blazkowicz does have the damage output, but no special movement capabilities. It will be hard for Knight if he gets behind.
Yeah.
But by the way, it's also not over for him because this is still upper bracket match.
That's true. Yes, the loser of this will go down. They will be playing the winner of.
And what do I say? It might also be that dandaking loses this one.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, we don't know. Like it could be dandaking in the lower bracket. Knight could be the one moving up. So we're just waiting on dandaking. Yeah, so looking at all these maps, Rob, like, what do you think's like Knight's best chance here? Like, do you think is because I think if he can get an advantage on this map, I think he's especially with Jeweled, right? You can get a lot of damage out in really quickly, and if he can get control, I think he's going to favor him a bit here. Well, like I know Dan's got the speed, and if Dan can run away with this, it's going to be impossible for Knight to catch up to him. That's Dan could get a frag and just run. Not his playstyle, he wouldn't do that. He's very aggressive.
I think Blood Covenant is going to be interesting. Slash versus Athena. Like Athena is so good on Blood Covenant. Slash also, but yeah, she has the horizontal speed. But Athena can just do so much trickery and get everywhere more easily. Slash has to go the long way around.
Yeah, well, I think they're both really solid picks here, and so I think both of them would have been happy, honestly, with either of those two champions. Like I say, I thought I was expecting to probably see Knight on the Slash if Dandia didn't take it, and while Athena, she's got that vertical access. So I think we're going to see Dan with such good movement, he'll be able to get around the map quicker than maybe what Knight's going to be expecting. And while this Athena can hook really fast, Dan's going to be able to hold this upper ground. Keep really good control of this rail, keep pressure on both items, and the time it's going to take to do it is not going to be very long. He can just shoot through these corridors really quick. So Knight's going to have to be prepared for a fast-paced matchup in that one.
Yeah, we're still waiting on dandaking. I don't know what he means by what he just said in the...
So it's AFL. He's the The season has just kicked off. So he's oh, there we go. He's back. All right. They won. There you go. Richmond have won. All right. Sorry if that spoiled it for anyone who was planning on watching it later on.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this second map. The next time you're out this way, Rob, we'll have to take you to a footy match, right? Come experience some AFL with us.
And AFL is the Australian League?
If you ever say football in Australia, that's what you're talking about. Oh, I should say probably more Victoria and New South Wales, really.
But it is soccer, right?
No.
No, okay.
You see, soccer is. See, if you say soccer here, that's the one where you kick it on the ground. AFL's one where you run around and kick it, and hold it and you bounce.
It's more rugby then.
2, 1.
Kind of a little bit, but it's got to well, closer to rugby, I'd say, than it would be soccer. Anyway, we've got a match to watch here. Immediate start. Dan get an immediate rail on Knight as he crosses over to pick up Mega. And Knight now holding up the position. Good spot to be, but he still doesn't have two of the crucial weapons he needs for this.
I need to Google something, I think. Like...
Stopwatch.
This is going to be a scary spot. If not, I love this trap. He's waiting there with the Jordan. Look how much damage he's hit. Wow. Knight, that was... At first, I was questioning this play. He's sort of just sitting there doing nothing, allowing Dan to take that item. But then the dual LG comes out and hits so much damage.
Oh, and he gets a rocket launcher at it. Like, it's almost like he knew the future. Like, what was going to happen.
I would say he read that perfectly, and here he's actually managed to. Almost the timing there. He looks away just as Dan peeks out, and Dan just charges straight in, but Knight.
And he can get the heavy.
Swap over to rail.
Where does Dan spawn?
Oh, Dan gets the nail spawn. He tries to chase in, but the rockets, great defensive rockets, and interesting. Knight's actually caught him here underneath. He's going to try and rocket jump up. Dan, smart enough. He's not going to go through that corridor.
It was an interesting play though, because Knight, like he didn't really go hard for the heavy, and then the king was, I think, contemplating of going for the heavy right away, but then he was too late for to get to the super shotgun. So he was basically doomed.
And Knight right now is just playing pretty much perfect, right? Like he is hitting all this damage. Beautiful rail as well off spawn. He's just catching down off spawn. And that's the thing, right? This is what can happen, right? You get a light champion and they're so easy to kill off spawn. He's been catching Dan going into these fights just before the match. Beautiful tri-bolt, 90 damage. And Dan just hasn't had a chance to be on a high stack yet. The only time Dan has had a lot of stack is he got pinned in the wall with dual LG. And this could be a chance for Dan to get a kill here. And gone through the TP. Now this is going to be a scary spot for Knight. Here's the rocket jump. Dan finally secures that item. Drops down and... Not enough there. So Dan finally recovering something from a really strong and quick start from Knight. We're only 2 minutes into this. 2.5 minutes into this game. We've already seen 6 frags.
Stopwatch.
True. And dandaking, playing a diesel engine, like every time he uses his inject, he will get a little bit more health. 1 point to be exact. So it's really a little bit. But that does mean something in the long run.
I've seen games won because of that inject. Oh, another trap set up, the dual shotties. He only gets that sort of first one, but there we go. The dual LG comes out, and again, he hits everything. Machine gun out, both players critically low. Any damage would really kill either player. The nail comes out. This is a good choice, actually. He can just spam damage in. Not able to hit anything. Dan
Knight is in trouble.
Pushes in, and this is so unfortunate. And interesting play there. I kind of like how Knight sort of tried to jump across to the side there. Throw the angle off a little bit, but Dan, he's just too quick, too good. He's not going to miss that sort of shot. Shotty comes out again. Not enough. Dan hitting all of the damage right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Knight couldn't take the portal exit, so he locked himself up while being low. I don't think it was a great choice to take the fight. Only the last second he made a mistake by going right instead of left.
Dan now on the hunt. He's heard him and pushes straight in. God, the shotgun initially though, huge damage, but 3 beautiful rockets from Dan, bouncing him around. Dual machine gun comes out, and so much damage is coming off from this as well. The inject force as well as picked up the heavy, and Knight has to get out of here now. I think he does also secure some items there.
Stopwatch.
Yeah, then the king is removing another light on the map.
Oh, good rocket jump straight up at Knight, and that's the thing, right? Knight had rail out, thinking, not realizing the Dan, he was just ready for that, and then as soon as that rail went off, missed shot, and again another denial here. He begins heavy.
Yeah, he's starving out the Knight on the resources.
We're tied up again too, so it's 5 to 5. The question is, can Knight get back into a situation where he can start fighting this? Because look at that fight there. Dan is still up with that 1-5 shot. He's got overstack of both.
Oh, he was
I think that's a dual that came out.
I don't think he has the champion to lay out a trap. Like he needs to get his basic stack up. And just
we've already seen him do it, right? Like his first frag was a perfect trap, and he's done it a couple of times already, which has resulted in good kills. The problem is now, with Dan having such a huge stack and such a good level of control now over these items, it's going to make it difficult because those traps that were working before, now that Dan has got 300 stack, aren't going to necessarily work now. Because there we go, another trap set, a little bit of damage. He's got to get out of here now. He can't fight this. Let's say that though, LG from both players is fantastic. Pretty much who's going to hit this next bit of damage? Machine gun out, good choice. And, oh, the rail comes out from Dan, and he's fighting about 10 HP there. But look at this. Yeah. He's got such a great cycle, and he can go straight over to the Mega. And look at his stack, you would barely know they had a big fight. A bit of shotgun damage, Duel comes out. He's actually going to drop here, and he could get this kill. Dan, smart for him to try and back off. The Tribot comes out. Good amount of damage, and shotgun again.
Nice.
Nice, he's making really good use with this shotgun.
Yeah, if he's not able to catch Dan the King before he gets a great weapon arsenal, he's just waiting on the blood pool for some extra health.
And Knight has just removed that other 50 shard there from the map. Dan just sort of waiting by that heavy, still up in a little while, so Knight should be able to push in here, but that missed rail is bad for him, and that's 2 hits from Dan. And again, we're going to run around this pillar. And yeah, Dan with the shotgun. Just jumping around. Clean Knight up with one more frag. Again, we're going to see a shoddy fight here, and this could actually kill at this range. It's not healthy. But all these fights that they're taking are always just before one of these major items. Jewel comes out, but he's got no stack at all. And on that, he wasn't even able to deny that item. So Dan, straight back onto 300 stack. Knight, he's going to have no armor shards for him. He's got no weapons. And there goes all of his armor. Like, what does Knight do in this situation now?
Yeah, I do think like the traps, are the only things that is working. But he's not getting the chance to get into position. Like he gets discovered before he has the tool belts or the tools in his belt that he needs to survive a fight.
Yeah. And like he's getting a lot of good damage off in all these traps that he is setting. The problem is it's just between this inject, like look at that, the inject just saved him there. He really needs to push in here. He cannot let Dan get this for free. There's 5 seconds to go, and he's on 3 HP. 1 machine gun bullet. A rail will also do it. Perfect. And try off from Dan. Strong. He's going to get heavy, and I don't think Knight's going to have any way of getting up that excess. But look at that, Dan.
Yeah, maybe
knowing how fast he can be.
Yeah.
He's gone and denied that other 50 as well. Rare miss from down there, Knight. Getting a rail in return. That's what Nine needs here. He needs a bit of unreturned damage. He's gonna go wait over this item, but it's not gonna be up for a little while still.
Yeah, he is split between a decision like, do I go aggressive? Or do I try to get unreturned damage? But right now he's actually too careful, like he's not getting anything.
Yeah, so just allowing Dan to have sort of free reign of the map, and he's just like, look at Dan go. He's just flying around the map. And gonna see the engagement here. This is a good trap. The dual wield LG comes out, huge amount of damage. That rail would have done it too, and he's just survives on 1 HP. And again, that's the problem. But look at that. Dan immediately drops onto the Mega, and he's got a 50 shard as well. And he's just going to chase into this room here. Knight, he doesn't hit a miracle rocket here, which he has done.
Nice.
But 2 miracle rockets, double direct, that's what he needed. Oh, he needs to be careful to push you though, yeah. Still railable even after that heavy. Anyway, that's GG's. There's only 15 seconds on the clock. There's no way he can catch up. Oh, beautiful rail on the flying anarchy. But that was an exciting match to watch. And that's GG's to Dan. One more map to go. Knight has to do the full reverse sweep now. Question is, does he have it in him?
Yeah, it was rough going, like 69% accuracy on the rail for dandaking. Like that had to be the other way around. Like,
and like what we saw at the start there, right? Like Knight was it like 5-0 up or something like that initially to begin with. Like Knight had a fantastic start. It was like 2 minutes where Knight was just in full control. He was just taking that map away. But once Dan got in control, got his weapons back up, it just, yeah, it became really hard for Knight, especially because the denial of armors made that so hard. Knight spent so much time just trying to get into these corners of the rooms where he can hide, build up that natural 100-100 stack, and Dan was ready for it. He was waiting for them. He knew exactly where he'd be, push straight in, and then he'd get the kill, even if it was a close fight. Then Dan would have those megas to fall straight back onto immediately. But anyway, it looks like both players are ready to kick it straight off into the next map. This is the decider for Knight. He needs this map if he wants to remain in the upper bracket. This isn't tournament life for him, but obviously you never want to be in that situation where you have to claw your way through the lower bracket to then get back to the grand. You know, and if he doesn't make it that far, then get back to the grand final and be a map down already.
yeah, I do think. Looking at the champions, that this is one that Knight could take.
Yeah, I think there's, yeah, honestly, I think it's probably one of, if not, yeah, the strongest champion on board Covenant. This will probably end up coming down to, like, what we've seen is, like, you know, rail control. How good are the rails going to be? We've seen how strong Dan's rail has been in this previous map. I hope for Knight's sake, he doesn't hit quite as many shots.
Prepare to fight.
But let's see what Knight can do. It's all on him right now. He needs a good start.
One.
And he needs to be able to maintain that, right? He's had 2 good starts, I'd say, now.
Yeah, and I do think like he has a decent start. He can try to defend the railgun, because that was hurting him a lot the last map.
This is a good start for him, 2 rails, and Dan's sort of just hanging about a bit. But unfortunately, because Knight is on this lower section of the map, oh, Dan actually did drop, so still doesn't have rail yet. In fact, Dan's only got rockets at this stage. So any fight here would be a bit risky for him. And Knight, it's going to be in a good spot. He really needs to go get this kill though.
Yeah,
He's got 1 second before this item spawns. Just waited that little bit too long.
True, like he got the last heavy, or the first heavy, so he knew the exact spawn time. But he didn't push. Like, Dan was there 5 seconds? Or maybe 8 seconds before.
And on that, he'd already hit a rail on him, and he nothing in return. So he knew Dan couldn't be too stacked.
Yeah, and like stack-wise, if you do the calculations, an LG fight would be won by Knight.
And not that, Dan only had rockets there, right? So,
Yeah,
to be fair,
but yeah,
Knight wouldn't know that. He would have
true.
assumed Dan would have had LG, but he didn't know. Oh, good use of the hook to get in there too quickly, and there we go. Nice play from Knight. Gets the opening frag again. He needs to be able to keep this going though. Oh, but he tries to drop down. Good use of the hook. Prevents him from being hovered, but the mutual frag there. The question is, they're both going to get over here, but no, Dan gets both all the weapons. He gets the shotgun and the rocket, and that is pretty much a worst case scenario there for Knight. Really unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to get either of those weapons, and immediately, like, look at that. One bad beat for him, and Dan, he's got all the weapons, he's got both the mages, and now he's just going to be hunting, right? He knows what sort of stack Knight's on.
Yeah, great jump also. And he's fine with pushing Knight out of position to just keep the control. This will give Knight some time to collect the light, which he does.
The problem is he has to be so careful, he can't hang around. Like, look at Dan's movement. It is absolutely perfect, right? He is getting around this map so quick. He can get from one side to the other in like a second or so. It takes him no time. Great rail from Knight. That's what he needs. One more of those. He's opting to try and fight here, and Dan trying to force him back. Knight goes up top. Beautiful, beautiful rail, but oh Dan, he still manages to return one there.
And it's like one rail and all the armor is gone from Knight, so he has to change his plans.
And I think he's going to be out here. The hook, nice to get it out, but he's not out of danger here. Dan smells blood, and he's hunting Shoddy out. And that last rocket would have been really nice actually if Knight could hit that, but Dan unfortunately just jumping just over it. And oh, beautiful rocket there from Knight. Held all momentum, but the speed of the slash is going to have to drive straight in there. Oh, rocket jumping up, catching Knight out as well. Even with the spawn here, with the weapon dispense, the machine gun is good. Dan's got enough stack in this area that he can... Oh, a rare movement mistake. And look at this here, Dan's still just hunting. He wants these kills. He knows Knight's low and doesn't want to let him get away here. Rocket jump up. And that was actually a risky play there for him. He wasn't quite railable, but he was close up. The click of death, no rails, and wow, look how much machine gun damage Knight has done. Dan is actually hurting a lot here. Won't matter too much, he's got Mega there.
Yeah, much of the damage is also negated by those major pickups from dandaking.
That's what Dan's been doing so well this whole set. It's just, oh, good LG as it goes up the bounce pad. Nice, potentially, and how does Dan predict a shot like that? No, I just tried to hook across and he takes basically a direct. He's on no HP, he's not even going to be able to deny the Mega here.
It looks like, woo, ow!
It must feel so disheartening, right? Like, again, Knight gets off to a really good start, gets that first kill. Good use of the hook to try and avoid those shots, but Dan with the rail, and Knight can't even get to the heavy in time.
Yeah, like, it would be nice to see, like, it won't happen this set, but like maybe for next season at Knight, just practice his aggressive plays. Because
Well, funny you say that, because every season so far of AQL, Knight has been, because we do our awards at the end of every season, where players vote for what, everything. We have one category, which is most defensive player. And Knight has won that every single season now.
Yeah. And
he said he is working on trying to be more aggressive, which I've seen. He used to be a lot more defensive. He's getting better with it. But yeah, maybe just leaving up a little bit too much. Oh, nice hook there actually, and great LG too.
Yeah, because the problem is that the dandaking is not allowing him to play his own game. So you have to switch it up, but that is, I think, right now out of the comfort zone for Knight.
That's true, and that is also very difficult too when you've got to try and play. Yeah, as you say, playing something you're not used to, especially when Dan is just getting so much damage in on him. Like he can't even just safely cross them without fear of taking a rail. Like, and with the speed of Dan, he just pops up everywhere, right? Like, and left on 1 HP here, and it actually suicides on Dan. And, at this point, yeah, what do you do? And, well, that's one thing you can do. You can just start by waiting for Dan to whiff a few shots and get a kill on him. But, unfortunately, that's not something you can really rely on. The question is, can Knight make anything from this, which is what's important. And Dan playing very aggressive here, maybe a bit too aggressive, and there we go, Knight. A nice couple of back-to-back kills. And the thing is, Dan now doesn't have the weaponry. Brilliant shot. He needs to go in aggressive here. He cannot let Dan get away, and a great rail to follow that up with. Knight is not out of this yet. He is still kicking. He's going to go kicking and screaming into the lower bracket if he has to go there. And now, Dan actually pushing in here. And problem for Knight is time now. Alright, we've got 2 minutes left, just over 2 minutes left. But mind you, Dan, he's really happy to take these fights. Like, he's just going to keep pushing in if he can. Really low. Knight, he just needs to really hit any damage. He's railable, both players. Dan doesn't have a rail yet. And he's going to catch him off in a beautiful direct rocket. One more there for Knight. And Dan does actually start to have to think about this right now. This is a lot of kills really quickly for Knight. And another beautiful rail. And oh, interesting. Yeah, Dan, smart play. He tends to fake it out and he goes straight back.
I think on the other hand, Knight wanted to bait the item. Unfortunately, dandaking gets the item. He's quite low though, but the Mega Health will stack him back up. And Knight, of course, also playing a light, so no armor when he spawns.
And, oh, the hook almost gets the kill actually there. The little bit of damage you get when you hook into him, left down on about 10. And yeah, Dan's just gonna he's just gonna leave here. He doesn't want to throw away another frag now. Like, I know it's only a minute left, but with the speed in which, like, Athena is also a quick character, right? So she can catch up. Good rail. The problem is, like, how does Knight, aggress here? He doesn't have the weapons. And Mega, was going to be up at any moment.
Ooh, great LG from Knight.
Yeah, really strong from Knight there. I say, unfortunately, it's just not going to quite be enough. Oh, straight up into the trail from Dan. That did a lot of damage, actually.
Shotgun or rocket launcher? Nice. Good rocket jump.
I know that this game is, it's no time now, unfortunately, for him. But I think Knight overall should be, like, really happy with how he's played. Like, this set has been, again, like, I know that was it the first map the scoreline looked, and Dan's just hides underneath him, and you never know. Oh, there we go. Out with it's the starting machine gun too, just and he does get the final frag there, just to make it a little closer. 7-9.
Nice.
And yeah, so that'll be Dan now moving on to the grand final. Knight getting knocked down to the lower bracket. He will be playing the winner of our next set, which is going to be Lucky versus Lua. That's a match, actually. Honestly, that's probably the one I'm, like, most interested to see, because I think these guys